Good evening, everybody, and you're listening to the first episode. Let's see if I get this right. The first episode of the Fandom City Podcast. That's right. If you're a longtime listener and you haven't heard the news or seen the news on Facebook, then you're probably wondering what the hell happened to the Fandom Cantina. You might be wondering what happened to Rebel Fandom, and the truth is we killed Rebel. That's right. We just decided, you know what, we can't take any more of his bullshit, and we offed him. So there you have it. No, we're kidding. We couldn't do this without Mr. Hollywood himself. This is the first episode of the Fandom City Podcast where I can absolutely say the wonderful people we have involved with this are without bias and bringing the blunt. No, not the weed, just the bluntness. First up, he's the guy that okayed this. He's a guy that we thought we were taking a break for a week or two, and somehow it turned into over half the summer. But we're back. He's not dead, contrary to popular belief. It's Hollywood Rebel. What's happening, man?
What's going on, man? Just checking to make sure I'm not dead after you said you killed me, and I thought there for a second. I'm like, well, am I dead? But, just making sure.
You sound sick.
I am a little under the weather. A little bit of stuff going on with sinuses and kind of that junk. So
I firmly blame my spouse and the future mother of my future child for that. She was sick, so I'm sure she got you sick. We're blaming her.
Totally.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah, that sounds good to me.
She's about 15 feet from me, so I might get whacked for real. Also joining us tonight, he is a man who I'm only going to do this once, so he doesn't feel too embarrassed. Without him, this show doesn't exist. Without him, Rebel Fandom wouldn't have existed. Star Wars Wastelands wouldn't have existed. He gave us our first big break. He's always supported us. He's going to be, hopefully, barring his work schedule allowing him to, a semi-regular co-host and part of what we're calling the Core 4 here on the Fandom City Podcast. It's Tommy B. What's happening, man?
Hey, guys, what's up? It's definitely been, I don't know, a crazy year and a half, 2 years. We've had our ups and downs. Things keep moving. But, hey, I got to tell you, I am thrilled to be here this evening. I am thrilled to be here for this launch of Fandom City. And I cannot wait to see what future holds in store for us here with this, I guess you could say, new chapter of our podcasting adventure here together.
We're just here shooting the shit, which is a segment we're about to get into right after we introduce this last guy. He's been here since Star Wars Wastelands began way back in 2015. He took a hiatus for a while. He came back when we were doing some Star Wars Wastelands episodes. More on Star Wars Wastelands a little later on. I know some of you have had questions about that. We will answer it. But it's Olivia. What's that? No, it's McMahon. What's happening, man?
Man, I thought we were about to just start this show off on a horrible note, and here you go. You did right. I mean, from the opening song forward, you're doing good so far. I mean, I know you're going to ruin it, because you're you, and you have to, at some point, play some crappy music that's going to ruin my night. But, the more things change, the more they stay the same, I guess. I'm excited. I can't wait. And if there's anything I've always been, it's blunt.
Well, that's perfect for this show.
Yo, Shawnee McShawnsky, did you just call him Olivia?
I did.
I want to know the story behind that. There's got to be a story.
All right. So, okay, Fizz, help me out here, man, because the name of the show is slipping my mind.
Man, I almost don't want to help you.
I can't remember it. It's a Shonda Rhimes show. I just can't remember it.
Someone help someone. I need to know.
We're not moving on until we know this story. So come on.
What's the name of the show, Fizz?
I don't know. Maybe we're just going to bring the show to a halt for a few minutes. Let's try and figure it out. No, it's a scandal joke.
Scandal, that's it.
It's a horrible It's not even funny.
So I started calling him Fitz instead of Fizz, and Fitz is the president of one of them anyway, president of the United States of America in that show, and I like Fitz.
Man,
He's
have
cool.
you forgotten the name already?
And Scandal,
I literally just
Scandal. And I thought I was doing him a solid, and I really like Cyrus Bean in that show. So I thought naturally if I call him Fitz, he's going to call me Cy. Didn't happen. No. Instead, he calls me Olivia, the main character of the show, who I absolutely cannot stand and pretty much wish death on every single episode.
You're the only person happy when she was kidnapped.
So you're Olivia.
No.
Yes. Yes, he is.
Wait.
That's
what I think I just heard.
That's what I gathered from that story. I mean, that's what came out there.
Really, both of you. You both got to take his side. That's it. The show.
Olivia. Are you having like an identity crisis, Olivia, or what?
The show is over. That's it. We're done. 8 minutes into this thing, and I am done. We had a
new record.
It's over. See you later. No, it's just a running joke, a running gag. Which, by the way, if you're new to this show, you're probably going to hear some different sounding voices on this show. Well, that's because two of us are from north of the border. That's right, the Greater Toronto area here in Canada, aka Canada. We have Thomas, who is down in the northern United States, and we have Tommy B, pardon me.
Some people say I'm in the South now, but those people are wrong.
And the real Southern guy is Mr. Hollywood Rebel over there, who...
yes, sir.
I mean, listen to the voice.
Can you still call yourself a true Southern gentleman when you claim to be from Hollywood?
Look, I don't claim... Actually, there's a Hollywood, Alabama, but I'm not from there either, so...
Look at you having all the answers.
Hey, got to.
Just when you think you have all the answers, McMahon changes the questions. That's right, a nod to the late, great Roddy Piper. Which, by the way, Fizz, I seen that his daughter is AEW bound, so that's cool. I know nothing about her, but that's cool.
Sure.
Is it his daughter, or is that just a gag?
I have no idea.
No, alrighty. Well, maybe McMahon didn't know that.
McMahon did not know that.
Alrighty. I'm sitting there going, maybe I got my information wrong, but she pretty clearly said that she is Roddy Piper's daughter, so whose name I have already forgotten. That's right. I'm Sage, and I got a funny story about the name Sage, by the way, and you're not going to believe me when I say this.
Her name is Teal.
Teal. Producer Jade says Teal.
I see this. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So,
that's the thing.
Yeah. Is she an actual wrestler?
And that explains because it only happened like 2 hours ago.
Is she an actual wrestler or just someone who is just getting into
news to me?
Interesting. This will be. I mean, hey, I'm a huge Piper fan, so I wish her all the best. Okay, guys. By the way, if you're new to the show, which obviously you are because it's our very first episode, you can join us on Mixlr. For now, the link is mixlr.com/the-fandom-cantina. You can log into the chat, leave messages. You'll be able to hear us on many of other platforms as well. We're just getting our feet wet in this. If you have any questions, we will try to answer them towards the end of the show. We will be covering a wide range of topics. But to begin shows, if you don't like casual talk about what's going on in our lives and us shooting the shit, you're probably going to want to fast forward past the first 15 to 20 minutes of this show every episode. Because that's just the way it's going to be. And if you don't like it, too bad. This ain't the show for you. And if you do like it, then awesome, because we're really cool people, except Hollywood Rebel.
Screw you. Throwing shade like that.
So I'm sitting on the couch the other day, guys, and as you know, I have a baby on the way. We're getting really close to gender reveal time.
Dude, what? You're pregnant?
Yeah, first ever male. World record. She probably wishes it could be me and not her. But so we have our boy name decided, barring any last minute changes. And the boy name is Jensen, a.k.a. Jensen Ackles from Supernatural. No decision on middle names yet or anything like that. And my family has had one girl born in 60 years. So the odds of a little baby girl, probably aren't great. And we'd been having a hard time with the girl names, even though I think it's going to be irrelevant at the end. And
you are just slapping fate in the face right now. And
you ain't kidding.
And I think that I thought she was shitting with me, guys. Thought she was not shitting with me. That'd be awkward. Couples that shit together.
Well, I mean, as long as you got two toilets, I guess.
Oh, have you seen the bathrooms where they have two toilets facing one another and no door? Like, who could do that? I'm sorry. Hey, look.
That's freaking weird.
I'm madly in love with her, but no, that's a line crosser.
No.
I can't do that. Like, just
you don't want to sit there and hold hands with her?
Can you imagine sitting across from your significant other, and they're taking a dump right in front of you as you're doing your business, and you're thinking to yourself, wow, we had a lot of corn for dinner tonight. It's not going to go well. Like, you're probably never going to want to eat corn again.
No.
I think the bigger concern would be after the first time you eat Mexican food.
Ooh, yeah.
See, then the question becomes: is it a good thing to have two toilets or a bad thing to have two toilets?
Wait a minute.
No,
What if y'all
gotta weigh the both?
What if you both run out of toilet paper at the same time? Who's gonna go get some more?
Oh, that's a real problem.
If you have two toilets in the bathroom and you don't have two independent rolls of toilet paper, you've done something wrong. And if you should somehow manage to run out of both rolls at the same time, well, you deserve the waddle you're about to have to do.
Hey, I think we've all been in that position.
We've all been in the position of having to do the waddle, I'm sure. But that's, one roll of toilet paper in the bathroom. It's an acceptable response. Now, the fact you've run out of toilet paper inside the bathroom, then you've gone off the rails somewhere. But it's not always your fault. But, come on, 2 rolls of toilet paper running empty at the same time? You fucked up.
I think we've all been in that position where you go to sit down and do your business and you realize there's no toilet paper left. It's not a fun position to be in. Anyways, we've gotten sidetracked as usual, and that will happen on this show.
What's new?
She says,
I guess everything, because it's the first episode. But...
She says to me, what do you think about Sage for the baby girl's name? And obviously, I'm thinking, this is a total shot at me, and, she's just joking around. This is 150% not my idea. And I think she's having fun with me. And why are you guys talking about this? Sean Hockney says in the chat.
Because we can.
Yes, exactly. We will talk about anything and everything. If you have a pizza delivery driver who was late and still expects a tip, we'll talk about him. We'll tell him to go fuck himself. That's the type of show this is going to be.
What if he's a she and she's attractive?
Well, in my case, I'm still going to say that. In your case... Be my guest. The door is open. No, we're going to talk about
Of course it is. I'm accepting a delivery.
We're going to talk about a wide range of things on this show. This is going to be a fun show, down-to-earth show. If you're looking for people that are pretending that they're professional news anchors, this ain't it, minus one segment you'll hear later on. We'll get to all that fun stuff. The MCU stuff is coming, man. Enjoy it. Enjoy people being themselves, expressing themselves however the fuck they want to. Because that's me. I know it's these three. I know these three.
Are you sure?
Oh, I know you. Especially
you. Sure?
I've heard you go
Do you
off.
really know us?
I don't know.
All of a sudden, I'm questioning this. Anyway, she says Sage for the baby name, right? I'm thinking she's joking. But no, guy, legitimately, if we have a baby girl, she wants to name it Sage. Thoughts?
That would be weird.
She's got a pretty good name.
I mean, that would be weird in my eyes. But whatever. You do you.
If you have a daughter and name her Sage, she's getting a nickname immediately.
That's what I said to him. Like, well, what do I become? Like, I've had that name for like 16, 17 years. It just gets bought by an infant.
Well, wait, now
I don't think it's not being bought. It's being passed on. So the name will live on past you.
There's one, yeah, exactly. That is one thing I do like about it. It's not news to the three of you that I've had health issues and knock on wood. You hope nothing else arises, but the idea of, when my time comes, hopefully many years from now, that name would be hers, and I do like that. And while I am open to other names, I've sort of accepted the idea if that's what Jade wants to name her baby girl, I'd be okay with it. But I did tell her I think it should be with a G and not a J.
Well, you just beat me to what I was getting ready to say. I don't know if you ever said her name was Jade on a show. I was kind of steering past that. She's got a pretty good name. Have you ever thought of like naming a girl after her? And then you have Jay Jr. That's good. Then you got
Jay
JJ.
Jr. No.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
Her sister's already like bargaining for it to be Shawnee again. So Jay Jr. No, I'm vetoing Jay Jr. Why are you putting that out there for everybody to hear? Jeez. I could see if you were like...
I call you Shawnee McShawnski of the land of the Maple Leaf, so what does that make your spawn?
I don't know. No idea whatsoever. Anyways, guys, let's end shooting the shit.
Really weird.
Let's end shooting the shit with this because it broke last night, I believe. We didn't have it in our show notes. So Disney Plus... Or Disney Plays. Disney Play or Disney Plus? What's it called?
Plus.
Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Disney Plus has a package where you get Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu. $13 a month. American. There's no announcements for Canada, but American, which is where most of our listeners are from. I got to tell you guys, I think. Like if I'm Netflix, I'm sitting there going, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts? Go around the table.
I don't think they're concerned generally at all, because if you've watched Netflix the last few years, they've made a generally concerted effort to put their weight behind Netflix original series, things they've produced, things they control, and it's
probably why I don't like Netflix as much anymore.
As long as they keep giving me Stranger Things and Glow, I'm all for it. Okay, and I'm okay with all that. Losing a lot of people, they griped and moaned and groaned when they started losing the Marvel series. Well, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed them all, but after a while they started to lose their luster. Once they got to the team up, that was supposed to be the end of it. That was their arc. That was supposed to be it. And they just kept going, and I don't know. Their best before date has passed. I'm okay with them being gone. But, they're concerted. They're moving towards original series, and their quality. There are far more hits than misses, which you can't say for a lot of network television shows. I mean, every network cancels 3 to 4 shows within the first 2 months of a season. And I can't think of a Netflix series that hasn't gone at least 2 seasons. Now, they might be crap. There are a few instances of that, I can't even think of the name of it. It's that creepy one with the chick, with the weird voice. Just, ugh. I can't even think of the name of it right now, but...
No idea.
Here's one that... Are you talking live action only, or is animation included?
Well, I think animation is a little different because I don't think they've actually done anything strictly themselves yet. Now they've exclusively licensed a lot of series that I think are great. Like I myself, 7 Deadly Sins. I love that show. I didn't think I would.
Yeah,
that's my brother insisted I watch it.
We can't really talk about that too much. I'm
talking
more about
what they are. I don't know if they have any exclusives that they've done.
Yeah. You got BoJack Horseman, which started on Netflix.
I didn't
ended up going to Comedy Central. The same creators, they did Tuca and Birdie, but that didn't get picked up for a season 2.
Okay. So yeah, they have done it. So I mean, yeah, you include that in there. But they've made the concerted effort to move towards original content. So they're not nearly as hurt by losing, the Disney content and the NBC Universal content forthcoming. I mean, the outroar when they announced The Office was leaving the series just made me laugh. But, I'm Canadian, so it'll probably stay on up here just like Star Wars has so far. But that's a different issue altogether that I'm sure we'll discuss at length. I've hogged this topic long enough. Who's next?
Hollywood?
I mean, I don't know that this is going to kill Netflix, this one thing, but like the fact that I can get Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus for the same price that I can get the standard Netflix subscription for is pretty crazy. I mean, like that deal in and of itself is probably, I mean, I told my fiance about it tonight and she was like all over it. I mean, that's like too good of a deal, especially in this cord cutting age we're in. But I don't know that it's going to kill Netflix. I mean, I don't pay for my Netflix subscription anyway. I'm still one of those, I piggyback off my parents, so.
Yeah, I think a lot of people share Netflix subscriptions. I know me and my missus definitely do that. I do think cord cutting is happening and soon. It's really getting there. I think McMahon and I talked about that a couple of times recently. Tommy B, where are you at, man, with this package?
All right, I am qualified to speak on this topic if I do feel so, whatever.
Obliged.
So for a couple years now, I've had Netflix, my own subscription and all that, and they just take it right out. And some months I use it more than others. I did a run through of Supernatural on. I did BoJack. Me and the wife watched Stranger Things. Other exclusive shows. I discovered Seven Deadly Sins through Netflix, and at the same time, we've also had Hulu, and we've used that for different things. Now, we had Comcast, which is like internet/cable behemoth in this part of the country for the U.S., maybe others too. But now we're in a new area where we don't have the same opportunities. So we cut the cord finally. And right now we're going off Sling. We're getting ready to get off Sling after 1 month and hop on Hulu Live. Having said that, I do not foresee us even considering dropping the Netflix subscription because, number one, we keep it basic. We only pay like $9, $10 a month right now for the one screen. Just to get mostly your exclusive content that's only on Netflix and Netflix puts out there, and other stuff that you might not find on Hulu, because Hulu is really better just for TV as opposed to all the films and such.
Sadly, I wouldn't know. Hulu's not.
Now, getting over to the whole, I'm just going to, this is personal opinion. ESPN, I don't care. It does nothing for me. Disney Plus, yeah, there's a few things coming on there that I'd probably be interested in. I'm probably not going to sign up on the first month it comes out. Then again, maybe I will because Mandalorian's coming out on release day. So that may happen very well. The fact that it's going to be bundled with Hulu, yeah, that's nice. But at the same time, we're getting ready to pay for Hulu Live, which offers pretty good service for the cord cutters. And I am almost certain that package is not going to prorate Hulu Live for you at all. So I'm still going to have to pay for the full rate for Hulu Live and then add on Disney Plus as something totally separate and pay whatever their base rate will be. What is it, $8, $9, $10 probably. What was the package, $16?
13.
Okay.
13.
So yeah, I'm not really saving much money. The package isn't going to be doing really anything for me. But, for those who aren't in my sort of predicament, I can definitely understand. That's like the deal of all deals.
Well, I mean, I don't think we need to spend any more time on this. I was going to add something else, but we do need to get to our feature 3, and we can't even do that because we have some massive breaking news. How about some breaking news for the first episode? Wish I had I'm going to have to throw a sound thing in there during the edit version. So breaking news, I have no idea if this affects Star Wars or not. But David Benioff and Dan Weiss have signed a $200 million deal with Netflix. That's coming to you from Slash Film. Benioff and Weiss, if you guys don't know, creators of the Game of Thrones TV series, have signed a $200 million deal with Netflix. I'm going to assume that it's not going to affect their work on Star Wars, but with all the changes Star Wars movies seem to go through, at this point, I'm betting nothing until I hear they're still on board. Fizz, over to you first. What are your thoughts? I mean, you were just talking about Netflix original content, and they go and get two of the biggest fish in the sea.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, it's legit, because it is, just a quick Google search tells me I'm seeing it from more than that. Deadline, IGN, Variety. So this is a real thing. This is happening. And I have to assume that. See, now I don't even know, because my gut instinct was, okay, this is strictly a TV thing, only TV shows. But the first paragraph is that producer direct new movies and TV shows. So I mean, I'd assume it has nothing to do with the Star Wars stuff. My guess is that they'll do the Star Wars.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not saying
then
Star Wars stuff would go to Netflix. I wasn't saying that. But...
No. I'm saying that it would be a conclusion of that. Because it's what they signed a 3-picture deal with Disney, I believe.
They've never actually said that, other than it was a multi.
Okay, that's the presumed. That's the presumed from the fan base. So presumed 3 films, and with Benioff and Weiss, it's not out of the realm that they might film those in consecutive order, as well. Punch those 3 out in relative short order, and then just obviously separate the releases. So I don't know. I mean, it's also. I wouldn't be too surprised if they didn't just produce stuff in the interim term for Netflix.
It should be noted that they're only signed on as writers and producers.
I have them as the full deal. Oh, for the Star Wars project. Okay.
Yes. So, I don't know. This is shocking. I'm glad it's happening on the first episode here of Fandom City, which you can catch live every Wednesday at around 10 o'clock, or you can wait for our edited episode on Fridays. This is kind of shocking to me, and I want to assume that Star Wars is safe because we know they've been working on it for a while now. At the same time, I don't know. Until I hear that they're still doing Star Wars, I'm not assuming anything either way. Tommy B, over to you next, knowing that you have a lot of love for Star Wars. You have a new love for Game of Thrones. We were just talking about Netflix. Where are you at with this news, man?
Well, the very first thing that comes to my mind is, did Disney ever explicitly say that, and I know they're not going to be, it doesn't work that way, all Star Wars content was going to be pulled from Netflix? Because I'm pretty sure they denied it, didn't they?
I mean, I don't know. I don't really think there's that much content on Netflix at the moment at all.
They currently have Solo, The Last Jedi, and maybe The Force Awakens.
I think they lost The Force Awakens.
Okay.
I think
all that's kind of off. That's just like, what pops into the brain when I first hear that. On the other note, that sounds like a really tall work order for 2 people. It really does. Working double dipping for both Netflix and Disney. And I don't know if they're going to like that, either of the, they're essentially entering the whole, they're being competitors right now.
I would certainly have concerns about it. I absolutely would.
I wouldn't be surprised if one of them ends up dropping the other. And given Netflix just picked them up, they might be eyeing up, seeing if Disney's going to drop them in response shortly thereafter.
I'll tell you right now, and people might think I'm crazy, and I don't have facts. This is just opinion. These guys aren't getting $200 million to do these Star Wars movies.
Man, if they are, then god damn, those 2 guys need to give their agents a raise.
The interesting thing is these reports stated $100 million at first, and then quickly the corrections came. No, it's $200 million. So $100 million.
It's not unfathomable that it was reported $100 million each that got truncated into $100 million total. So that's not at all out of the realm.
Huge money though. Huge money for Netflix to hand out.
Man, I think they passed huge money about $100 million ago.
Hollywood, man, I get it. You're not a Star Wars guy. You're not a Game of Thrones guy. All of a sudden, all of our listeners hate you for me saying that. But when you
That's okay. You'll get them back when we talk Marvel.
You know how big Star Wars is. You know how big Game of Thrones is.
I do.
You hear $200 million for these guys to be all in at Netflix, and yet they're still signed for at least 3 Star Wars movies.
They're out of Disney.
You think that's where they're going?
Yeah. I don't think Disney's going. I mean, I don't think if I was Disney, I wouldn't like them working for Netflix and me at the same time. Especially considering that, like, a lot of these reports say, that it was a 3-way bidding war between Netflix, Disney, and Amazon as to who they were going to work for. So, like, if I'm Disney, I wouldn't like the fact that, they decided on Netflix and they're going to try to work for me. I don't think they might finish one movie with Disney, but I don't know.
Well, the one thing we can tell you is the release schedule for Star Wars with them is supposedly 2022, 2024, 2026.
Yeah. So
I should point out, just because this is a point you made, Rebel, that they're already doing this with someone. Shonda Rhimes has already done this. She still works.
Has she done anything other than her shows for them, though?
Obviously Disney, Shondaland, that's ABC. That's their bread and butter. Without that Thursday night, Grey's Anatomy led block, ABC's Thursday night has sucked for a long time.
What I'm asking is, has she done any show that's not in that block or movie for Netflix? I have no idea.
I believe her first Netflix series is in production. I don't know if it's actually hit yet, but she did sign that big deal. So I'll
tell you right now, I'm just worried that I have so much hope for the Star Wars trilogy with them, if it is a trilogy. We know it's at least 3 films. If they were to then be dropped, oh man, my hope for Star Wars, I'm not going to say it goes down the drain, but it's what I'm most excited for right now, and it's still a long way out. And I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. More on that possibly next week as details come through. The Star Wars question, Lucasfilm question is going to get asked a bunch over the next week. Hopefully we can bring you answers. It's time to move on to the next segment, guys. That is, it's kind of taking a back burner tonight because of that breaking news. But our featured 3, that's right. Each show, we're going to give you 3 main topics that we're going to spend an unlimited amount of time on as the discussion warrants and see where it ends up. And the first of the 3 topics tonight, guys, the future of the MCU. Let's focus strictly on Phase 4. The MCU's success has been matched by nobody. It's been fantastic. Endgame was great. Spider-Man Far From Home was fantastic. They've had 3 incredible phases. Lots of talk out there right now going on about Phase 4, though, and this looks by far the weakest of the phases, especially when you consider, it's not me saying that, it's just the general talk going on, when you consider there is no Guardians set for Phase 4. That's likely Phase 5. There's no release date on Blade or the Fantastic Four. Might make it into Phase 4. We'll see. But there's a bunch of Disney Plus stuff. There's not a ton of movies here. They don't have a for sure deal for another Spider-Man movie. One would think it'll come. Where are you guys with Phase 4? When I look at it, I go, okay, there's some things that intrigue me, but all in all, it looks like it could be a letdown, but if there's one thing I'm going to give them props for, it's definitely going to be very different. Hollywood, over to you first, bud.
Yeah,
actually, hang on. Before we go, let's just say this for the audience right now. Phase 4 right now includes Black Widow, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Shang-Chi, Eternals, WandaVision, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, Loki, What If, Hawkeye, Thor, Love and Thunder, and then at the tail end that don't have set release dates are Blade and Fantastic Four. Now, Hollywood, take it away.
Yeah, I was going to agree. It's definitely going to be different. I mean, when you look at the 10 things that they have set release dates for, half of those are on Disney Plus, which means half of them are basically TV show type things, which is, I mean, we haven't seen that before. Everybody's mostly been focused on the movies. I mean, so, and then, like you said, the biggest name, I mean, there is a Thor movie, but it's not till the very tail end of this. So
November 2021.
Yeah. So I'm excited for a lot of these things. Like a lot of these things sound cool, but I'm not sure how it's going to stack up to what we've seen so far. It's definitely going to be different.
Fizz?
I don't think it's meant to stack up quite as similar to what we've had. I think this phase is meant to be the cool-off phase. And it's also the phase where they're kind of experimenting. And I like that. I like some of these series that, in the films that they're throwing in there. I mean, quite frankly, the only film in this, and see, this is just me being me, the only film in Phase 4 that I look at and go, meh, to me personally, is Black Widow. And it's because, for me, it just feels too little too late. And it sucks, because I would have been excited for this, 2 phases ago. But now, to me, it's too little too late. I'm excited for the chance to see some of these characters that you don't see much of. The Eternals and Shang-Chi, I'm so excited for them. I'm excited for Shang-Chi for one reason and one reason only. And that's the chance to make it right. The one big fuck-up that Marvel has made, to me, as a fanboy of Marvel Comics, is the way they whipped out their hose and pissed on the Mandarin. That is an abomination to me. And now with Shang-Chi, they have a chance to do the Mandarin right. And I'm excited for that. Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, taking it in a darker curve, I like this. And if they can get this film up to a nice big R, I love it even more, because
I'd be stunned to see that happen in the MCU.
I would love it. And it's
supposed to be a horror element, they said. So maybe
it's not out of the realm of possibilities. I would like to see it get that R rating for one reason and one reason only, so that everybody can take a deep breath and realize that Marvel can do an R rating. Deadpool can't exist in this universe. I'm excited for that possibility. And Thor, Love and Thunder, I don't know. There's possibilities there. The idea of Natalie Portman coming back, and they said she's going to wield the hammer. Everyone's immediately jumping to Jane Foster's Lady Thor from Another Earth. I could get behind that. I could deal with it, because it's a comic thing. It's a real thing. I can live with it, but I don't think that's where it's going to go. I really don't.
No, I think we're getting the Jane Foster. I don't think we're getting a multiverse Jane Foster.
And that's exactly it for me. I don't think she's going to become Thor. She's not going to be Lady Thor. So everyone wanting to see that scene from the comics with Lady Thor and Thor, you're not going to get it. It's not going to happen. I think she's going to wield the hammer just like Steve did in Endgame. And, the Disney Plus series, they're hit or miss. I'll watch them, I'll see them, I'll enjoy them. They have their possibilities. The one I'm most excited for is What If. And that's because of the graphic. It told me that one of the stories they're going to do is a comic series that I love. I'm a fan of, Marvel Zombies. And I'm excited to see that. It's something that you'll never see a film of, because you pretty much have to kill every major character in the universe, and it's just not going to happen. But I like What Ifs. I've always loved the What If comics. And I'm excited. The fanboy in me is showing through. I'm excited for that. The other series, they're going to be hit or miss. I'll either like them or I'll hate them. I don't know which yet.
Tommy B, MCU Phase 4, brother.
I think everything that could be said has been said. Personally, I do think 4 is going to pale to compare with everything else that's come before it. Main things that are on the horizons right now that I'm really looking forward to with anticipation is Guardians 3, of course. And I really want to see what they're going to do with Blade. I don't think it's going to compare, though, with the previous Blade films that have been out there for a number of years at this point with Wesley Snipes.
Can't be worse than Blade Trinity was.
The Ryan Reynolds Triple H fiasco.
Yeesh.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I love Wesley Snipes, so I see what you're saying. Guys, I need a question answered for me once and for all here before we move on to topic number 2. Thor, or that's not Thor, wow. Thanos, is he not a part of the Eternals?
He's not a Celestial. He is the Mad Titan. He's intertwined with them, but for the purposes of this, I don't think there's any. He's come and gone with the different universes, so I don't. They might, touch on his past, his backstory. That's a possibility. Explain how we got to this point, but he does have a history with them. He was an Eternal, but for the purposes of this, I think it's going to be a whole different lineup, and you might get mentions of Thanos as in a sort of a historical, similar to, I guess the comparison would be Sylvester Stallone in Guardians 2. He'd be that sort of historical past. So I don't think it's a present issue, but a past issue. If they're doing it in the past, then sure, there might be a big dose of Thanos in this. But I don't think so. It's too soon. I think they might explore the backstory, but not a present.
Interesting. All right, gents, let's move on to feature topic number 2. This is one that's close to 3 of us. That's right. Supernatural Season 15 will be the last for now. ... Because Jensen Ackles just loves saying in the last couple of weeks that we look at it more as a break and we'll be back with something at some point. Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of sense to me. It does. Thomas and I here had the Wayward Roadhouse podcast for a while. We will have a segment on this show for our Supernatural episode reviews called the Road So Far segment in the final season of Supernatural. So I think they air on Thursdays, so we'll be reviewing the episode 6 days after it airs. Plenty of time for people to watch. Guys, I know it's months now since they announced it. My heart is still broken that it's coming to an end. And, even if they do something else, it's probably going to be half a decade from now, and if not longer. And I just want to know where everybody's at mentally heading into the final season, where I think McMahon's a day one guy. I started during their 4th season. Thomas is the last couple of years. It's it's my favorite show ever. Surpassed Smallville for me. And, I almost feel like you'll always have the seasons and whatnot, and there's novels too. And there's that one season of the animated show. But I feel like a part of me is, I don't want to say dying because that's over dramatic, but emotionally, it's really bothered me that this is going to be it. Thomas, since you and I did the show, I'm going to go to you first, man. Tommy B, where are you at, dude?
It's been, 3 years now, maybe roughly 4, maybe getting to, that I've been in a super. And I really just can't get over the thought that this show has never spawned anything other than the series. Besides that,
It should have.
animated
Let's be
series.
honest. The Wayward
You know,
Sisters
I
should have
understand
happened.
that. I understand that the Chicago monster thing didn't spawn the interest everyone wanted,
Yeesh.
and
bad.
I think I heard that there was a movie project or two, but they never went anywhere. Now, we all know one of the things, and it was one of many, that led to this show coming to the end, was CW's unwillingness to work with the, it was Wayward Sisters, right? That was the name
Correct.
they were trying to boot. Yeah, even J2, they were bummed about just the unwillingness to adopt this idea, because we all loved it. We thought it was best thing to come out in a while. So now that we're coming to the end, it's going to be season 15, and we're going to hear that carry on for the last time. I can't let go. I'm thinking that no matter what, there's a good chance that there's going to be something else coming at us down the line. Might not be for a couple more years, but I'm going to hold out hope for a while. Some folks may say that's a foolish thing to do, but that's what I'm going to hang on to it.
Something in the vein of what Gilmore Girls did. Or you might see something like The X-Files or Roseanne or Fuller House or whatever. But I think it's going to be a bit. Hey, I get that they also want to raise a family.
Like Fuller House. Don't knock Fuller House.
I totally get them. They have 6 kids between them, I believe. 5 or 6. And I get they're all young. I get it. They want to take some time. It makes sense. But there was other stuff involved here, too. Alrighty, we are back. The power outage gods did not want us to finish. It's not even a word. Finish this first episode without issue. And somehow Mixler has saved it, so no offense to the live listeners, our much wider net is on Fridays. We're good. So... we were just wrapping up our discussion on Supernatural, I believe. Thomas, did you finish what you were saying?
Don't know what I might have gotten cut off about, but yeah, we're good. Let's continue. Move on.
You just asked me a question when we went, so I can't
ask a question.
Yeah, it was just coming to me on the topic. Well, Thomas was done. You just finished asking me a question. What that question was, I couldn't tell you. But you just asked me a question I was just getting ready to answer, and it disappeared.
Well, the important part is that we are back. Thanks for all you troopers out there sticking it out. I have no idea what I was going to ask you, so I am going to throw it to you next, though. You're a big Supernatural fan. Where are you at, man? I know I'm doing the unthinkable, and I'm asking you not to binge this season. I'm asking you to do it with Thomas and I, episode at a time.
Goes against my nature, sir.
20 episodes are left in this thing, dude. 20. Where are we at? Where are you at? Are you going to be okay? Do you need a pillow?
Well, I mean, I needed a pillow when the news came out. I needed a hanky and, had to cry my man tears. But, I mean... all good things must come to an end. And I think ending the series on their own terms is a much better option than the CW waking up one morning and deciding, yeah, you're done. And having an inevitable cliffhanger happen and never get it resolved properly, which is what probably would happen. So... I'm glad they get to go out on their own terms. Not every series does. They've earned the victory lap. There's no question about that. 15 seasons. I mean, how many shows do that? Really? I mean, off the top of your head, how many series can you think of that go 15 years?
It's the longest running sci-fi show consistently ever.
I'll give you one consistently.
That's
okay?
the words that J Squared keep using. So.
No, and they're right. Consistently, they are right. I mean, the longest running sci-fi series is Doctor Who. 56 years kind of has them beat. But for consecutive, you're absolutely right. There's no question. I mean, 15 seasons. Let's just run through quickly that you can think of. Simpsons.
No, I'm sorry. Simpsons don't count. They're so irrelevant now.
They went 15, and they went at least 15 before they became well and truly irrelevant.
Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy,
yeah, Grey's Anatomy, and it's going to go for a couple more years, even though
Well, Gunsmoke? Was it Gunsmoke for 15 years? What's the Western that ran forever? Oh,
Gunsmoke or was it Bonanza?
Bonanza was the one that ran forever.
I just remember
Gunsmoke had a good run, but it only had 9 seasons.
Before McMahon finishes his point, I just remember I was about to ask you a question, but I was about to say a quote. And the quote was, this is what Jade messaged me during my supernatural ramble about my heartbreakingness. Quote, a part of me is dying. She's like, bitch, we're naming our baby Jensen, you dramatic ass.
Point for Jade, and thankfully she didn't say it with a slap to the face. So consider yourself lucky, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love television, and I cried my man tears. All good things must come to an end, and I'm glad that they're getting a chance to tell their story on their way out. I mean, if you can give us another, there's things I want to see in the final season. Of course, there always is, but they've set the table for something that's going to be amazing. I'm excited. It's going to be weird, when we get to that last episode and, we hear Carry On for the final time in a new episode. That's going to be awkward. It's going to be hard. There's going to be tears. There's no question. But I'm excited. I can't wait. Oh, excuse me. I can't wait to see where they go. I'm excited. The sadness has worn off. The excitement has set in. And I can't wait.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be 15 years. That box set's going to be hella expensive. Hella expensive for sure. I love the show. I do. It's my favorite show ever. But I don't know anyone who in their right mind can't say the best seasons are seasons 1 through 5. That initial Eric Kripke run. I thought 6 through 9, well, there's moments for sure in those. But those 4 seasons, the show...
The best season is season 6.
Oh, God.
The best season is season 6.
I thought the show went in a nosedive during those 4 years.
The best line of dialogue is when Castiel declares himself God. That is the best line of dialogue.
I'm sorry, but hey, ass butt is clearly the best line of dialogue in the series. Okay? Yeah, I don't know.
I thought 6 to 9 was a nosedive, and then somehow they got like a second wind, and 10 through 13 was fantastic again. But I don't know. As last season was going, and I enjoyed parts of the last season, I felt like it wasn't a full-on nosedive. I thought last season lacked compared to some of the recent seasons we've gotten, and I thought that this
Sage hates everything.
Oh boy, here we go. And that's just how I feel. And I want to swing it on over to Rebel, who's not a Supernatural fan, probably hasn't seen a single episode, but I'm sure you've had TV series that you followed for a very long time that finally end. How do you cope with that?
No, not really. I mean, my favorite show's still going, so.
All right, fuck you.
Okay, point of comparison, what is Rebel's favorite TV series?
NCIS.
I'll accept that. That's a good answer. I enjoy that show. It's I watch it with the family, so I accept that.
Yep. Still going strong. So.
I don't hate
Yeah.
that answer. It's a good answer.
Don't-
Another series in that 15-year
Mm.
run.
Yeah.
All right, guys. You'll be able to catch all sorts of Supernatural news and episode reviews right here on the Fandom City during our The Road So Far segment. We're gonna have fun. It's gonna be fun reviewing episodes of these two, and there won't be deep reviews. We're talking like 10-minute reviews of the episode, but it's gonna be fun to go through this last season of Supernatural, and I hope they've left themselves enough time. I know Jeffrey Dean Morgan wanted to come back for one last arc, but I don't think he was expecting 15 to be the end after appearing in 14. So I don't know if they'll get that chance with his Walking Dead schedule and movie schedule. We'll see what happens, guys. Let's move on to topic number 3, which is the Game of Thrones prequel, currently titled, might not be the official title, but currently titled Blood Moon. And we're going to try to keep this one on the shorter side just because we have a bunch of stuff to get to. Simple question, guys. It's a spinoff of probably the most successful show of the last decade. That's a lot to chew on. How do they do it right? And is it a guarantee they're getting a season? Fizz, over to you.
Oh, horrible timing throwing to me first. Oh, okay. Sorry, folks. Had to sneeze. I didn't think you'd want to hear that. It wasn't one of my best.
That's why he couldn't talk. Sneeze.
Sneeze. No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've seen more than enough series in the pre-production and pilot phase not come to fruition that until there's an actual release date, it's just in the hope phase. We'll see. I'll see it when I see it. And do I expect this one to make tape and make air? Absolutely, I do. But until I start seeing trailers and set stuff, I'm not letting the hype overtake me because I have been burned. There have been other series that have spun off and that I've ended up going, yeah, you're not what I was promised. You're not what I was hoping for. And I've been burned enough times to know that until I actually see it, I won't. I'm not allowing myself to create preconceived notions, because if The Last Jedi taught me anything, it's that preconceived notions are often destroyed. They say don't meet your heroes. There's a reason why that's a cliche saying. So I'm not letting the hype train get away from me.
Tommy B, you're pretty new to Game of Thrones. You got hooked. What's the sequel? Not the sequel, pardon me. It's not a sequel. It's a spinoff.
Prequel.
Your question whether or not it was going to get picked up for a season?
I did, because it's not like they shut the whole season. They shut a pilot. And remember, Game of Thrones first pilot, not picked up.
Yeah, I definitely foresee the show being picked up for at least a season. Especially after all the success that Game of Thrones has spawned. Does that mean the show is going to be great? No, because the same things happen. There have been shows created based off of universes or by the same staff members that just end up flopping. Just earlier we were talking Netflix and Hulu and such. BoJack Horseman, different total realm of things, animation, comedy, adult humor, whatever. On Netflix has been huge. It's actually been picked up for streaming, to put on TV by Comedy Central. Tuca and Birdie, which was same people, I liked it. Not everyone did. Flopped. Didn't get renewed for season 2. So just because one show does great doesn't mean the other one's going to do all that good. Do I think it's going to get picked up for a season? Yes, absolutely.
Rebel, you're completely unknown to Game of Thrones. Considering the success of Game of Thrones, do you think it's a given that they're going to get picked up for the spinoff?
I definitely think it'll be picked up for at least a season. I kind of agree with everybody else. There's no guarantee that it's going to be anywhere close to success, but I think it'll get picked up for, at the very least, a season.
All right, well, there you have it. That was our featured 3 for tonight. We did the MCU, Supernatural, and the Game of Thrones spinoff, currently titled Blood Moon. We're going to move into our next segment, which is Dead Men Walking, a nod to The Undertaker, but also the name of our Game of Thrones segment, which Rebel and I will be reviewing.
I think you might very much have a topic stuck in your head there, bud.
He meant Walking Dead, everybody.
This segment has nothing
Dead.
to do with Game of Thrones.
The Walking Dead, yes. It's been a chaotic... Things are going so well until that power outage. Yes, The Walking Dead, Season 10. It looks like a lot's changing. We're going to review it. However, we're not here to talk about Season 10. We're here to ask one simple question. It was announced that the Rick Grimes movies, there's supposed to be 3 of them, are going to theaters, which was not the initial plan. It's not what we were told. But apparently it's what's happening. Can these movies, and let's just start off with one, because unless they're filming them back to back to back, there's no guarantee we get all of them. Can these movies be a financial success on the big screen? I know people are like, well, The Walking Dead is huge and blah, blah, blah. It's like small screen success doesn't always transfer over to the big screen. Fizz, over to you first, man. Actually, sorry, I'm going to go to Reno first. It's only right. Reno, one, what's your take on them not doing this on TV like they said they were going to do? And 2, are you a little bit worried that if the first one's not successful, that it could cancel out the rest? Do you think it's a given it's going to be a success? Because I'm not so sure.
I mean, I was surprised that they're going to theaters just because I think their audience is, I mean, it's the TV audience for the show. And so, like, and I'm not sure it's going to be a financial success putting in theaters. I don't know what the budget is going to be on the movie. I haven't really read about that or anything or seen it. So I'm not sure how much they're spending on the movie to make the movie, but you know, if they're spending extra, I'm not sure they're going to make that extra money because I'm not sure the people, like, I'm not sure they're going to attract more than the people that watch The Walking Dead. And I'm not sure that everybody that watches The Walking Dead is going to go out to the theater and see this movie. So, yes, I'm worried about it not being a success. And, I mean, it would make sense that if it's not, they would cancel the other ones. So,
well, my response to that is I don't think there's been a budget announced, but you can't just be like, okay, so here's what The Walking Dead looked like on TV, and this is what it's going to be on the big screen. It's the exact same. Just watch it on the big screen. Rick vanished, and they got to come with a bigger budget. It's got to be, city oriented too. In my opinion, it can't be what you see on the weekly show. That said, you better not go too gun ho on the budget because this thing's not going to make $500 or $600 million worldwide. I don't see it. Maybe 100 or 200 if they're really lucky, which means you're probably looking at a $40 to $50 million budget at best, because then you have marketing on top of it. Fizz, I don't believe you're a Walking Dead guy, but
I started a Walking Dead guy.
Can this work?
Can it work? Sure, anything can work. The question is, will it work? And I'm firmly on the side of hell no. Putting this in theaters is a horrible decision that is going to cost AMC so much money that it may very well cripple them. Just looking statistically at the numbers from a year ago, from premiere to premiere, the numbers dropped almost 6 million viewers from premiere to premiere. The October 2017 premiere saw 11.4 million viewers. The 2018 season premiere saw 6.08. The finales saw similar drops, not quite as drastic. There was a $2 million drop, which was another $1 million drop through the season. So, I mean, it's dying. It is not. Now, granted, people are obviously going to make the point that this is the first Rickless season.
Well, to be honest, man, and I've been on the boat that it's been dying for a while. So is Reno. So when we had the idea to do something Walking Dead, I don't think he was overly anxious about it. And so, spoiler alert here. They jumped 6 years in one episode last season. 6 or 7, one of the two. And everything they did after that, was it gold? No, but in my opinion, the direction that they took the show, even without Rick, was the best stuff I've seen on The Walking Dead since possibly season 2.
Everything after the time jump was probably at least a B or B minus. There was a few things that weren't, but everything else was fairly solid, if not A quality.
I do think people deserve an end to their Rick Grimes story, though. A conclusive end.
I don't know what to say. I mean,
I don't think
the numbers.
Cinemas, though.
Yeah, the numbers aren't there. Not for this. Not for a film. Now, if we were still when the wheels got rolling on this project, I'll grant them it was probably a good idea. The wheels on this project was started rolling 3 seasons ago, right back in season 7, when the premiere took in 17 million viewers. That's a good base for cinema, for theatrical cinema. You're going to draw your television audience and then your average moviegoer audience who may not watch TV on a regular basis but do go out to movies. But, it made sense then. Now, not so much. You've seen a 6 million viewer drop season over season in the last 3 years. 17 million in 2016, 11 million in 2017, 6 million in 2018. Law of statistics say next year they're going to have 0.08. There's going to be 80,000 people watch the premiere next season. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But, the trend says that's what's going to happen. Predictive analysis says that's what's going to happen because it's what happened for the last 3 years. This is a horrible decision that's going to cripple AMC financially, and it's a hole they may not be able to come out of unless they pull out their nuke, which they will have to do to fix this mess. And in order to fix this mess, they will have to bring Breaking Bad out of the mothballs. That's the only thing that has a chance to fix the mess that AMC is about to make.
I think there's one other way out. One way it can be a success.
Not do it in theaters?
Okay, well, they're doing it in theaters. We're just going to have to accept that. Is you better go to the Jason Blumhouse school of how to make movies. Make them for cheap, but have them look really good. And yet you can't use the same corner cutting for cost cutting that you use for the TV show. It can't look like the TV show. It can't be more generic area, Oh, it's more woods area with a small village. More woods area with a small village. And
they need to tap into George Romero.
I'll tell you what, if I was them, I'd flat out call Blumhouse and say, how do we do this? We'll get you on board, because they're geniuses at spending, $3 to $15 million and finding a way to make $200 million. No idea how, but
I don't think they can do that here. I don't think there's a possibility for that. Deciding to do these theatrically,
I don't know how they can keep the budget down.
They can't.
They could keep it down if it's going to look the same, but then everybody's going to be like, okay, why did this need to be in theaters? So, I don't know.
They're hoping to cash in a quick buck on people who just want to see the end of the Rick Grimes story, and it's not going to go the way they want it to.
It's 3 movies. Like, people are going to get tired of that by the second movie. I mean, the third one's not going to make money, even if...
You know what they're going to do? They're going to... The Force Awakens this shit. Where you have... Rick meets up with his old buddies at the end of the first movie. What happens next? Tune into the second movie. I can almost guarantee you that's how it's going to play out. Tommy, Thomas, whatever your name is. I know you're not a Walking Dead guy.
Shawnee McShonsky of the land of the maple leaf.
Close this out for us here on this topic. Does this have any chance of being successful financially?
I'd be surprised if they got what they wanted. That's it. That's all I have to say.
That's short and sweet. Let's keep the truck rolling. It's time for the Fandom City News. pay attention. Don't take a bathroom break. Pardon me. This literally flies by in a minute or two tops. These are the topics we did not have time to discuss in detail. And over to our anchor man, Mr. Fitzgerald.
Welcome to this evening's edition of the Fandom City News. These are your headlines for this week. Andy Serkis is confirmed to be in the director chair for the Venom sequel starring Tom Hardy and Woody Harrelson. The CW's 100 has confirmed that its 7th season will indeed be the final season of the show. Reports have confirmed that It, Chapter 2, clocks in at a lengthy 2 hours and 45 minutes. One has to wonder, is that too much? Famous Batman voice actor Kevin Conroy will finally get a chance to suit up in the cape and cowl as the Caped Crusader in CW's 5-part crossover Crisis on Infinite Earths. And your final news story of the evening, Warner Brothers' Joker movie is set to bow at the 2019 Toronto International Film Festival. I'm McMahon, and this has been your Fandom City News.
All right, that is your Fandom City News. Told you it's quick, and we're going to have one of those every show. It's McMahon's job to lose at this point. I do want to point out that we will be in attendance, or at least I will, for the Toronto International Film Festival Joker debut, and we'll be doing all sorts of things about that movie, as we'll be beating the public audience to that by about a month, much like we did last year on the Fandom Cantina with Halloween 2018. Let's keep this thing rolling, though, boys. It's time. That's right. We mentioned it off the top of the show. People have been asking about Star Wars Wastelands. Star Wars Wastelands will survive as a segment on this show. Not necessarily every week. It's interchangeable. If there's not Star Wars news to talk about, we're not going to talk too much about it. And there's not a lot of Star Wars news to talk about right now, so we really just going to have one question during this segment, but it's the first show, and I just couldn't do this without playing it for McMahon. So here's your intro into Star Wars Wasteland, some Star Wars dubstep. Alrighty, Star Wars Wastelands time, guys. I pose the question to you. Sorry, there's two of them here. Number one, we're going to focus in on Star Wars Episode 9. Bunch of rumors have been going on for months. If you've been reading spoilers like I have, you have an idea where the story's going. You're probably sitting there wondering how the hell they're going to do this in 2 hours and 15 minutes. And the answer is I don't think they're going to. I think you're going to be looking at another 2 hour and 40-minute Star Wars movie. The Last Jedi wasn't received great. I'm not sure where you guys stand with it. We are going to skip Rebel on this topic just because he will be on the next topic heavily. And he's not a Star Wars guy. What's your confidence level, guys, heading into Episode 9 now? You know, after seeing a trailer, after seeing some behind-the-scenes stuff. Maybe you've read rumors of where the story's going. Maybe you haven't. Tommy B., I'm going to go over to you, man. Star Wars Episode 9. Is your confidence level starting to get back up, or are you just extremely cautiously optimistic that it's not a failure?
I really think that for those who want to see things, quote-unquote, made right, because there are many who don't think that The Last Jedi flopped even a little bit. I feel that those who are willing to look at everything as it is, they'll see a light of redemption in Episode 9. I'm feeling quite confident we're going to have some more, I guess you could say, positive response throughout the fan base as opposed to what we had with The Last Jedi. For those who have already made their decision that this is a prequel trilogy except worse, don't even go see the movie. Your mind's already made up.
That's well said, although I like the prequels, so there's that too. Fizz, Episode 9, we're getting closer. As we sit here today in August, we got about 4 months or so till this movie comes out. 4 months and a week. Is your confidence level getting any higher for this thing?
I think higher is no. That just to put it straight in a flat way. No, my confidence level is no higher because I can't raise my confidence any higher. You know, for me as a fan, it can't be worse than The Last Jedi. And I say that knowing full well that it could, in fact, be worse than The Last Jedi. So don't throw that hate mail at me or anything, you know. But I'm excited. I'm hyped. Is it more so now since I've seen trailers and things of that? No. I mean, it hasn't gone up since Celebration. So, I mean, if we're basing it on that level, then yes, I'm hyped. I'm excited. You know, the level is definitely up there, but is it any higher now than it was then? No. I'm excited. I'm hyped. It can't be worse than The Last Jedi, and they've already shown me things that have me generally and legitimately excited. So, bring it on.
I'm cautiously optimistic. And this is me reading supposed spoilers from that website that likes to spoil everything. And you know who they are, and you can find them.
Stay away from Super Shadow, man. Come on.
Oh, man, Super Shadow. Wow. Well, in episode 9, it's going to be Darth Bane versus Darth Revan, and things are just going to be fucking insane. Guaranteed. By the way, I have a cameo in the movie. I'm George Lucas's best friend.
You know, Tommy mentioned the prequel, so I just felt it seems appropriate to throw out a Super Shadow reference here.
That was good. I wasn't expecting that. I like that. Let's move on, though. Topic number 2, The Mandalorian. We can confirm this. If you're hoping to binge it, don't. Because you can't. Unless you wait till it's all out, because they're not releasing all the episodes at once. That's right. You can't just pay for your 1 month and get everything. They may, and they stressed may, release the first 2 episodes. But if not, it'll be 1 episode, followed by 1 episode, followed by 1. A weekly format. So you might get 2 to begin with, but they are doing the weekly format. So how you feeling about that? Fizz, over to you first on this one.
Don't tell me what I can and can't do. No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, as we get closer and closer to the digital format being the only format, I don't know if I like the idea of doing week to week in this format. So other series have done it. I can't say I've ever truly enjoyed it. I'm actually a little upset that they're not just dropping it all at once. But I mean, if that's the way they're going to run Disney Plus going forward, I can't really hate on it. I can't really hate on that decision. But
business model wise, it's wise.
You know, I don't disagree, because you're right. It does force fans that want to watch it immediately to have an ongoing subscription over the course of the series. So, you know, you are stuck with at least 2 months of subscription at any given time. But I don't love it. I don't hate it. I don't really have an opinion.
Tommy B?
I could always change my mind, but my initial reaction, similar to how McMahon started, and the exact same way that I respond whenever Netflix's "Are You Still Watching" screen comes up, is I'll say, "Don't you judge me, and don't you tell me how to live my life." About the binging. I'll tell you what, I'll wait till the series is over about a season, and then I'll pay for a month. And then I'll watch that, and then I probably, maybe they'll come up with some more stuff I'll want to watch. But at the moment, that's really the main thing I want to see anyway, so.
Well, I'm hoping for review purposes you don't wait that long, but
I don't know. I don't know. We might have to work out a streaming idea.
We'll see. That's going to do it for Star Wars Wastelands, though. We are coming towards the end of the show. Before we get to outros, though, Rebel and I, Mr. Hollywood over there, who I'm sure was at the red carpet premiere, rubbing elbows with Beyonce and Elton John, and he's tight with all those people. He's got his nose 10 feet up in the air, looking down on us. I can't even see past the nose. But I'm sure he was at the red carpet premiere down in Hollywood, California. But I can tell you we've both seen the movie. It's time to review it, Rebel. It's our Fandom City 7-star review. That's a nod to Dragon Ball Z, the 7-star Dragon Balls. Where are you at, man? How did you feel, and what are you going to give it?
Talk about the Lion King, right?
Yes, the Lion King.
You never said what we were reviewing. You just, I was so excited for this movie. It was like the movie I was most looking forward to out of the rest of the year. I was so excited to go, and I sit down in the seat. The music plays, the Circle of Life. I'm like singing along, not out loud, but it was there. And then it just got awful. Like, why was this made? They're like. There wasn't enough changed in this movie to make it worth it. And the stuff that they did change was pointless. Like, why didn't Rafiki just walk with his stick all the time? Why was it hid in his tree? Or why didn't he stand all the way up when he held Simba up? That annoyed me. But anyway. I don't know. Like, the movie was okay. The animals couldn't show enough emotion because we wanted them to look too real. There wasn't enough emotion on their face. So, I mean, it was a really big disappointment for me.
And, all right, don't give your star review yet.
I'm not.
For me, look, we did shows last year. This was my most anticipated movie of this year. And I came out liking Toy Story 4 better. And I never thought that was even going to be a possibility. I didn't hate it. It's not like I didn't even like it. I liked it, but there was some decision making that I just wasn't on board with. It was actually too realistic at times. I felt like I was watching National Geographic voiced over, which is too bad. You still needed a little bit of a hint that, hey, this is our fairy tale land of the Lion King. Favreau, I think, just went too far with this one. The Rafiki not having the stick thing and certain song decisions bothered me, but the biggest thing was, and I had taken my my little guy's younger brothers, who were obviously not mine, to it, and they'd never seen the first Lion King, so they enjoyed it. But I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, I can't see any emotion on these animals' faces, and I'm sorry, that's not a too realistic part. I can see emotion on my German Shepherd's face. I absolutely can, and you couldn't in this movie. And while I didn't hate it, I definitely liked it. In terms of it, it was an enjoyable theater experience, almost like, when I was a kid going to see Undercover Brother. It was an enjoyable theater experience, but doesn't mean it doesn't mean I'm going to go see it again.
Hold on a minute. Undercover Brother? Are you... I don't even know how to respond to that.
I specifically remember what the woman was wearing in 2 rows in front of me, and let's just say it might have been more enjoyable than the movie, and that's why... Yeah, so that's probably going to get me in hot water.
Well, just casually reminder that the film came out forever ago.
Yeah, but that's my point. It was okay. I probably paid $5 to go see it at Famous Players.
Man, I missed that place.
Yeah, me too. Wasn't everything I wanted it to be, and it's unfortunate. It wasn't really close to what I wanted it to be. Rebel, what do you give The Lion King, man?
First of all, I'll just say it's amazing that in the original movie, the best part was Timon and Pumbaa, and in this one, the best part was still Timon and Pumbaa. But anyway.
No, absolutely. I totally agree.
All right, so we're doing this out of 7, or we're doing this out of 10? We're
Out
doing
of
out of 7, right?
Out of 7.
Okay.
It's a 7-star review. How many
Well,
stars
that's
can
right.
you give it?
Look. I was just making sure. Out of 7, The Lion King from 2019 is going to get 5. Yeah, we'll go with a 5.
You're going to go with a 5. That's higher than I thought you were going to go, man. I am going to give The Lion King a 3.5-star review. So a 3.5 for The Lion King from me.
Hater.
5.
Hater.
5 might be too high, but I'm going to stick with it.
5 from Rebel. I will turn the last part of our review over to the two guys that haven't seen the movie yet. Tommy B and McMahon, do you guys have any question, just one, but any question about the movie whatsoever that you might be curious about?
Yeah, what camp do you fall in when it comes to, they say it's too realistic looking, and some folks say they would have preferred if it was a little more CG looking.
It definitely needed a CG element to it. I mean, the biggest example of that, in my opinion, is Scar.
Yeah.
McMahon, anything?
I'm going to save us some airtime and say no, I don't have any particular question, because I know eventually I'll see it, because The Lion King is my dad, one of my dad's favorite films of all time, so it is inevitable that I will see it. So all of my questions will be answered.
Alrighty, well, our airtime's a little over 80 minutes, but we did have that breaking news we didn't expect. We did have an interruption there. It threw us a little bit off. We had a long intro. I expect these episodes to be closer to 60 to 75 minutes in length. We're going to close things out here. Just want to point out that you can follow us on Facebook. Look for Fandom City on Facebook. We're doing exciting votes every day. I kid you not, when I took the results for this, it would have been this morning, so it's probably changed since then. But we did what movie is better, The Force Awakens or The Last Jedi, and The Force Awakens won 54 to 4 to 4. 4 of the votes were not counted because they weren't answers that made any sense. 4 people said The Last Jedi, and 54 people said The Force Awakens. So, I mean, I get it. That's a small group of people, but
What did the votes that didn't make sense say?
both of them are great, and I like Caravan of Courage and or Holiday Special, stuff like that. So,
Those forgot the question.
but yeah, we're gonna have a new Twitter handle soon. We'll get you that. You'll be able to listen to this on Apple Podcasts, maybe YouTube. We're going to have a group discussion about that. You'll be able to hear us next week at around 10 o'clock Eastern again. Already have most of the show notes laid out, but who knows? Maybe we'll get more breaking news. We're going to go around the table here. First up, Tommy B, man.
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Tommy B has taken the blunt part of our description a little too seriously. We're closing it out. Bon voyage. Do you have anything?
Oh, well, okay. I missed that. Hey, it's been nice chatting with all of you. Come back. There we go. Okay, that's good enough. Goodbye. Get out. Stop hating everything. Yeah.
McMahon.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? No, I'm just picking on Tommy because, that's just what we do around these here parts.
24.
No, seriously though, it's been a lot of fun. I'm happy to be back doing this on a regular basis again. I'm excited. It's fun. Just shoot the shit and leave your preconceived notions at the door. I love it. I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to just keep unrolling with you guys.
Or do you mean rolling? Bow chicka wow. Hollywood.
Not
brother.
with you guys. Not with you guys. I'm sorry. None of you are my type.
Hollywood man, what do you have to say to close this thing out?
And it's been blessed. It's good to be back after missing, half the summer. But it's good to be back. It's fun tonight, and I'm gonna slip on my shades, and stroll off into Hollywood. So see y'all next week.
Yeah, he's got dinner with some Harrison Dodge guy or whatever, and Tom Cruise. So I don't know who those guys are. That's above my pay grade. So, but I'm Sage. That was McMahon, Tommy B, and Hollywood Rebel. We'll see you next week for the second episode of the Fandom City Podcast. See you then. And in the meantime and in between time, feel free to check us out on Facebook. Adios.